Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once more to the Overwatch Open, heading now to Game 2 between Team Liquid and SPLYCE. And the last game, much closer than I think we thought going in, where we thought Team Liquid would be somewhat more of a favorite, but SPLYCE, in no small part due to clockwork, was able to come in and give us quite a performance. So we'll see now if those sort of deathmatching skills can translate to the next map, which will be bringing us to the snowy peaks of Nepal.
Yep, Nepal is going to be the map choice out of that or Lijiang Tower. SPLYCE feels they have slightly better odds on Nepal, so we'll see why that might be, if they've got something up their sleeve, or if we'll just see maybe just great mechanical work out of everybody, including Clockwork. We had Machine trying to make that Clockwork joke earlier, but he was working quite well there on Dorado. Even though SPLYCE wasn't able to take the map, he was a big part of the reason that they were so close. And we did get an update, actually, that free refills is also known as Pure, who has obviously been on SPLYCE for quite some time. We didn't know that going into the first game now. Thank you for the clarification on Twitter there, but that makes a little bit more sense why we would see a weird name like that.
That's one of those things where I do wonder is, like, did he change his name? Is his main account bugged? Why would he go from Pure, which he's so well known on, has a Twitch channel on all those ago? No, actually, I am now free refills. It just, I don't know. There's probably some entertaining story going into it, but the one interesting thing about going to Nepal here is that if SPLYCE is able to turn this in their favor, as mentioned, the next map in the pool is Lijiang Tower. So if they prove to be the superior King of the Hill team, they have a lot to look forward to because they have another similar map heading right up. But here we go. This is the intro. We are heading in Nepal. We'll see what King of the Hill chops both teams have in store.
Yeah, we don't know specifically which point it will be starting off. Of course, this is just a map intro, so we'll find out shortly once we get into the game which point we're going to be starting on. But Nepal, vastly different between these two Shrine and Market? Village? Something like that. Shrine and Village. Compared to Sanctum, which is just vastly different. It's very unique on its own, that Sanctum with the giant pit and all the vision provided by that. But it is going to be the Shrine to start us off, which is that raised platform with a ceiling. Oh, no, sorry, Village. My bad. But we do have a Genji on both sides. Not surprising. Tracer on both sides. Everything else seems to be mirrored, actually. Big mirror match across the board.
Not too surprised to see Clockwork on Tracer. Of course, not only is it in the meta for Nepal, but it's also something where you think about his FPS history. He's pretty well used to playing really quick, mobile, annoying classes with lots of damage up close. So Clockwork right now trading off poke here with AZK. Both teams looking for the advantage. More high ground to SPLYCE, but they're dropping off the high ground, looking to contest this more directly. Winston going to leap in with the Zarya shield from Mezar with that protection. Not enough, though. Shrugger takes him out. First pick of the game goes in favor of SPLYCE, and SPLYCE right now, they're winning the poke war very heavily. ID has to back out. If they get one or two more picks, that might be it. To hang, though, able to fire right back, takes out Shrugger, down goes free refills, and Liquid now turning this on a dime.
Yeah, normally you see the Tracers trying to battle it out. Clockwork finally finds AZK there. Pulse Bomb goes down, doesn't catch any targets, but it is going to be Liquid to claim the first point here, already up to 10% as Clockwork finally falls there. Liquid in firm control now. They actually have some wiggle room. They can push forward if they want to, but it looks like they are staying disciplined, staying on the point. Some of them, of course, are going to take the high ground. High ground advantage, of course, gives you a somewhat smaller hitbox. You're able to shoot down at your opponents. It can be harder for some characters to get up there quickly, Zarya, for example. So definitely makes sense to keep that high ground advantage when you've got the point already ticking up. You don't have to be standing on it to keep getting percentage.
The one thing that's really going to work out for SPLYCE here is that they do have Sound Barrier upper right. Minstrel not going to have it for a while. They're going to drop this here in just a moment, or will they? Free refills goes down immediately, and now dropping Sound Barrier a little bit less enticing because it might be a lost fight already. They're down 2 people. Clockwork does get pick up on the Mezar, but they're down so many people, I don't know if it's worth. Waz, in fact, pulling up the Dragon Blade towards the end of the fight. I feel like he could have saved that a little bit here. You look at SPLYCE, they're already in retreat, and even though they do get 1 extra kill off of it, might have been better used here, as going to the next fight, they're going to be up against Dragon Blade Sound Barrier with only Sound Barrier of their own in response as far as Lucio and Genji play goes.
You're totally right. That ultimate discipline actually goes for a lot of characters. You'll often see Desperation Graviton surges as Zarya is trying to run away, but Dragon Blade is not normally one of those that you like to see wasted when the kill potential is so high there. Shrugger does have Dragon Blade for the side of SPLYCE and could make a great use of it. Unfortunately, they are down 5v6 very quickly as Winston was eliminated. There goes Shrugger as well. So everything coming up Liquid here for the first point on Nepal. Sickness forced to back off. He has the Graviton Surge, so they're not completely out of it. They need those teammates to return as quick as they can, and they need to get a wipe right now.
And for SPLYCE, they do have Graviton at the ready. Shrugger has Dragon Blade, so SPLYCE, they have to do this, but as you mentioned, time is running out. They need to win this fight or it's going to be over. Sickness needs to make the most of his opportunity. He is looking at the side of Liquid, looking for the right opportunity. Doesn't want to get deflected, but here comes Graviton. Does get 3 people in. A little bit of server lag as this goes on, but Winston does not care in the middle of it. Left flicking. Mezar, though, able to withstand this a little bit, takes out free refills. It's 5v5 right now. Sugar, though, making the most of it, slicing, dicing in the back with the aid of Clockwork. That's going to be 3 kills between them, and they will retake this point. But Joshi, they have to hold on for the rest of the round or they will be losing this round.
That's true, and that can be, of course, very difficult. It's kind of the reason that people don't like assault maps that much, is because fighting over 1 point, you're eventually going to lose that ultimate battle when it comes to teams that are very evenly matched. And I would say, of course, Liquid and Splyce, after taking that game 1, are very evenly matched indeed. Clockwork does have Pulse Bomb available. Catching that Discord Orb, he's going to need to back off and at least keep LOS for a second there. As we move into the point itself, Clockwork does let that Pulse Bomb fly, doesn't get too much out of it, not a kill at least, but Minstrel did not have a sound barrier available this time around. Oh, actually Splyce falling very quickly there. It looks like a combination of AZK, Mezar, and Waz. Actually everybody on Liquid getting a kill to their name.
Mezar was able to leap onto Zen really early, take him out of the fight, and from there it just quickly went downhill. So first round will be going in favor of Liquid. They are able to bring it right back. Splyce showing signs of life towards the end, but not a bad showing for both teams. In Liquid right now, definitely a bit more in the driver's seat, and they're 2 rounds away from knocking out Splyce.
Yeah, everything looking good for Liquid after taking that first map. They're in position to potentially shut the door. Of course, they will have to win 2 more rounds. This is best 3 out of 5 for the map Nepal, so we've got a couple of points yet to come, but the series overall is only a best of 3 single elim, so Splyce really needs to start battling back now. I'm not sure we saw enough out of the DPS characters there for Splyce, but Waz has lag, gonna go back to lobby. Oh, we all did, it says. So yeah, that we did see a spot of server lag once that Graviton Surge came out and everyone just kind of stuttered. Splyce ended up winning that engagement, but overall it was not a pretty sight.
No, it was not, and it might have affected their fall-through on that a little bit, but there are tech issues from time to time. Waz, of course, lagging out, but it wouldn't be esports without technical difficulties from time to time, and these things just happen. And sometimes it's on the servers, sometimes it's on the players. Who really knows? But hopefully it'll get solved soon. But thus far, interesting set. Liquid definitely seeming a little bit above. Certainly in the last round, more things went their way than against. But Splyce has come out a little bit stronger than I expected here in this matchup.
Yeah, I think before the match, I really wasn't too sure what was going to happen. Waz is a player that they've only been playing with for about a week, so it's kind of a wild card situation for them. But Splyce have been playing together, and some of them have been playing together. Some of them are kind of newer to the team. We thought Free Refills might have been a new recruit, but it is, of course, just Pure playing under another name for whatever reason. Nepal, so far, Team Liquid looked pretty dominant. They only managed to give up the point a single time and were able to reclaim it almost immediately. So have to be pretty confident as hopefully the lag is settling down. We're going to keep giving you updates on that. But otherwise, I think pretty good series unfolding for us.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been bad at all. And one thing about King of the Hill type games is that it can be a little misleading in where you have one team that looks really, really dominant, but then they end up losing the next few rounds. It is very swingy. It has higher variance. It's why historically, if a team has thought they had a really big advantage over another team, they like bringing it to payload because it doesn't happen all the time, but when you see upsets, I still think you're more likely to see them on your Nepals, on your Lijiangs, when compared to payload maps. In fact, you want to go way back into Overwatch history and lore. There was a time where, of course, IDDQD, now the Envious Core, was on a ridiculous winning spree, and most of the times they lost maps, they would lose it on Nepal and Lijiang. So for Splyce, I think bringing here to King of the Hill was a good idea, especially if that's how they work things to get in the situation. But we'll see if it works out for them, because right now they're down 1 in the hole as we go in once more to Nepal, and we're going to be going to the Sanctum stage.
Yeah, I think it's the great equalizer, basically. In sports, it's rain. In Overwatch, it's King of the Hill maps. And you mentioned Envious and their IDDQD run through closed beta 55-match win streak. Envious has actually matched that now. Envious is actually battling against themselves for that streak record, and they're at 55 themselves. So definitely have lived up to expectations here in release. But we are back into business now. Sanctum is going to be the point that they're fighting over. 10 seconds till it unlocks. Winston is going to engage. Mezar hops right in, but gets picked immediately by a combination of free refills and Clockwork still being super accurate with those left clicks on McCree. Trying to find Genji now as he's super low health. Does actually end up getting the kill from Pure way in the back.
Yeah, that was a triple kill coming out there from Pure, aka free refills in the backline, but it's just really standard play in this patch where Zenyatta marks him up, McCree knocks him down. pretty clinical coming out here from SPLYCE. They earn themselves a first cap, and it's worth noting here on the Sanctum stage, you don't have to hold on the point. In fact, you can hold all around the perimeter and really make it awkward for teams to attack you. You make it so they have to go in on you, and they can't really play the point effectively. So it's not the best situation Liquid finds themselves in, but certainly I would expect them to retake at least once here, as both teams are evenly matched. But here we go. We do have Winston charging right in here for SPLYCE on the Liquid as they try and retake this. Sound Barrier on the way from SPLYCE. They're throwing all their chips on the table to win this fight. The Graviton pulls in 4. The follow-up is there, and that's going to be a full team wipe for SPLYCE. They defend serve.
You can see the immediate regret of Clockwork hitting that Deadeye. He's like, oh man, they're all dead. I have no targets left, so he just cancels right away and gets those left clicks so he can build some percentage. No use actually pulling the trigger on a single target, so at least he salvaged it. And he's actually going to have Deadeye probably during the next encounter anyway. Shrugger moving forward now as the Death Blossom comes out, finds a kill on Dehang, but nothing else really going their way. Kozen getting a nice credit for his Lucio kill. AZK goes down, playing that Reaper instead of McCree. Even though this is kind of a ranged map overall, Shrugger is going to back off now. 62% for SPLYCE. Definitely have gathered themselves and now are putting on a great show on the Sanctum point.
Yeah, and truth be told, that could have been much worse for Liquid. Shrugger did not have Death Blossom right away. He had to shoot once or twice to actually get enough charge. If he had that to begin with, it would have been a 3 to 4K easy. So Liquid a little bit sloppy. And here comes the Graviton from ID. Does pull in 3, looking for the follow-up, is not going down yet. Was pretty low in HP. Mezar able to get the capitalizing on that. Takes out Sickness. 65 in favor of Liquid. Waz with the Dragon Blade moving forward. Gets the nice deflect on the Clockwork. A 3K for Waz in the end. Shrugger and Chain his Ghost, though, still fighting. Still trying to keep it in his... Clockwork says, I thought you used it. Oh my goodness.
No, he actually didn't use it until he killed yourself with it.
But interesting, Liquid is able to get on top of the point from that assault. 96% though, the SPLYCE, all they have to do is win one team fight, Joshi, and they're going to be evening this up 1 round to 1 round. And for those who are just doing it and going, but it says 0-0. Liquid already won a round, we just had to go back to lobby.
Yeah, we went back to lobby because there was just a spot of lag. I think it was server-wide, so no harm, no foul there. We may have to reset again, depending on what the third point is, as we do want to see each point at least once. But Liquid now in control of the point, getting at 25% already. Sickness is trying to ninja it basically as the solo Zarya, but of course Liquid is able to collapse once they get enough players on the point. AZK the first to go down, Clockwork also down on the side of SPLYCE. Sound Barrier comes out for SPLYCE, and the Death Blossom from Shrugger cannot find any kills. Transcendence out now for Liquid, keeping them all alive. AZK is going to respawn and head back while SPLYCE is falling like dominoes.
They are falling. Wazil get the double kill, doesn't even use Dragon Blade for that. They're able to withstand the storm there. They stay in it, ID with the fall through at the very end. So not the best look from SPLYCE. Liquid, though, they still have to defend for 2 more pushes. You take a look at what's upcoming in the next fight. Both teams don't have Sound Barrier right now, but Minstrel is really close. So if Minstrel gets a Sound Barrier up, Liquid could very well win this next fight and use that to win the game. But here comes SPLYCE. SPLYCE now in. Shrugger able to take out Dehang immediately. That's bad news bears here for the side of Liquid. But Waz once more in the clutch in the backline. Gets the triple kill with Dragon Blade, lighting them up, knocking them down. AZK with the fall through. Liquid will hold once more. And now this is very bad for SPLYCE because the next fight will very likely decide the game. Liquid has Sound Barrier, SPLYCE does not.
It'll decide the round for sure. Liquid taking a 2-0 lead would not be great for SPLYCE as they are looking at their tournament life on the line if we head to a third point with a Liquid 2-0 lead. So as they speed in here, we do have Kozen nowhere near a Sound Barrier. Shayna's Ghost is going to pop that Primal Rage and try and get some damage in, but the Sound Barrier on the side of Liquid is going to keep them in good health. Another deflect there. Shayna's Ghost goes down. Clockwork falls shortly after. There goes Kozen, Pure Shrugger, all falling the way of their teammates. And I see no Adam. I'm not sure what that's about, but the celebratory Death Blossom seals the deal for Liquid. They're going to go up 2 rounds to 0. Just need 1 more.
Yeah, and that is just highly unfortunate for SPLYCE. It was their round to lose, and unfortunately, they lost it. So now Liquid up 2 rounds to 0. And just to remind you guys what's at stake here going into the next round. Should SPLYCE lose, that is it. They are out of the tournament for today. They will not be going on the day 2, and Liquid will in fact be advancing. So rough times here for SPLYCE. We'll see if they can turn back in because it's not like they've been getting destroyed in these games. It's been very close.
Luckily for us, we did get the shrine. That is the appropriate point, not the village a second time. So everything working out for us on the remake. Prepare to attack. 4 seconds to go. It looks like the compositions are very similar to what we saw in the first one on Village, with the exception of Shrugger and Clockwork over on SPLYCE staying on the Reaper McCree, while Tracer and Genji still coming out for Liquid.
All All right, both teams trading off here. Poke on to the point. This first fight, of course, very important in King of the Hill. You see Winston going at the Zarya shield, making a little bit of space here for SPLYCE. SPLYCE definitely the superior positioning, but here comes Mezar leaping right in with ID right by him. Liquid fighting right back. They take the positioning onto that point, but Free Refill is able to punish ID for that. So now 65 in favor of SPLYCE as AZK right now trying to be the equalizer. His friends are dying all around him, however. 2 quick kills here from SPLYCE. Make it 3, and they're going to get first cap.
Sickness with that beam weapon on Zarya, finding Genji and Tracer as quick as he can. Mezar and Minstrel fall shortly after. Clockwork, of course, doing his left-click duty as McCree, and the fact that this point is somewhat elevated means McCree can actually play it pretty safe. He can actually just jump around this pillar as you see him doing, and as soon as someone comes onto the point, they're generally in flashbang range. So Clockwork is going to be playing the ledge. If there is, of course, that full heal over on the ledge as well, he can run to in a pinch, but as it stands, SPLYCE getting up to about 25%. Liquid only has the one ult available in the form of AZK's Pulse Bomb. There it comes flying out. Looks like he did get a sticky, but Kozin is going to go down. Free refills fall shortly after. No support here for SPLYCE. Liquid has the door wide open.
That was the absolute best pick that AZK could have gotten, taking out a Lucio that has Sound Barrier. There is no higher dream as a Tracer in King of the Hill, and they're able to get that. I was going to note that if all Kozin had to do was drop a Sound Barrier there, and they probably would have won outright. Minstrel not really close to having it at the time of that fight, but oh my goodness, AZK getting the exact pick off he needed, and it opens door for Liquid where they're in a much better shape here.
Yeah, AZK still just laying in the damage. They're going to try and attack from the ledge side. SPLYCE has 4 ultimates available. Graviton Surge coming out from the side of Liquid. Another Pulse Bomb goes into it. Going to deal a ton of damage. 3, 4, 5 kills to AZK's credit. Limbs at least, but great combination there.
One of the simpler wombo combos in the game, but so incredibly deadly. ID set up AZK for the big bomb. They got 3 kills off of that, and we're just able to mop everyone else up right after. Liquid piling on the SPLYCE right now. SPLYCE does have tools in their kit here for the next fight. They're going to open with Sound Barrier. Sugar's going to go into Death Blossom. We'll see if it's enough. AZK, though, being an artist right now on Tracer. Transcendence does come out here from Free Refills. Going to be chained here by the Death Blossom, and they get 2 kills off of it. So SPLYCE moving in. Sound Barrier has been burned. 5 kills, 6 kills here from SPLYCE. Good staggering of the ults right now to take this point. But Liquid held on there in the previous fights in times where I'm not even sure they should have.
Yeah, all the way up to 66%. They have to feel good about their odds. All it really will take is 1 flip and 1 defend, and they could seal the deal into the semifinals. But Clockwork, of course, actually playing a great McCree throughout this series, was able to help fight back there, get a couple of kills to his name. There's a Deadeye coming out pretty quickly there from Clockwork, perhaps just to buy some time as that percentage continues to click up. He does end up canceling it, so he can save that 50%. Here they come up the ledge side. Mezar's going to jump out of Clockwork immediately. Clockwork able to roll out in time, but does fall ultimately to Dehang and that Zenyatta. AZK going down as well is not great for Liquid, as he has been such a great source of damage for them. Waz is going to have to pick up the mantle here, and he does so by getting the kill on Shrugger. Dash reset lets him get in on Zenyatta. Perhaps they can get another kill here soon, but either way, Liquid in control of the point now, ticking back up.
All right, and just to note what is at stake here. This is SPLYCE's tournament life on the line. Everything at stake for the next team fight. It is a must-win situation here for SPLYCE. What are the tools they have going forward? They will have Transcendence. They're going to be able to open with that. It'll give Kozin time to get Sound Barrier. Shayna's Ghost is going to go crazy in the back with Primal Rage. Waz going to try and be the difference maker. Graviton into Dragon Blade. Moving forward.
Oh, it gets caught in a Graviton Surge of his own. Can't dash out because he had already used it. Great trap there to keep Waz from going absolutely crazy. SPLYCE have done it. I believe they can slowly kill off everybody on Liquid and flip this point at 99%, defending their tournament life for the time being. They're going to flip the point up to 70% themselves, means they really only have to defend once, maybe twice, to try and extend this to a 4th round.
Right, and for SPLYCE right now, that was very important. But here's the problem. They did use a lot of resources there. A lot is going to be on the back of Shrugger to get into the backline gig of Death Blossom. If he does not do that and mitigate the Sound Barrier or kill somebody before, it's going to be bad. But here comes Sound Barrier. Liquid is moving in. Clockwork does not care. Was able to take out Dehang very early on here. 2 kills here for SPLYCE. They're trying to defend this. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's 4v4 right now. Liquid still in. AZK tearing up the backline. Still alive. Still has Pulse Bomb up and in his kit. Look, just tearing into this Reaper. Forces out the Wraith form. Onto the point. Looking for a little bit more. Liquid fighting right now. They can knock it off this point. It is an overtime. Either team, if they get off here, that is going to be around. But for Liquid, they will win the series if they are able to take this. They're still fighting on this point.
It's so piecemeal. Deaths happening on both sides of the map. Dehang actually getting a kill there to finish things off. Free refills going down as well, and Liquid seem to be tying things up nicely here. Waz with the Dragon Blade gets a couple of kills. Liquid have flipped it back to their side. Overtime takes down so fast, so punishing. Liquid have done it. That's a 3-0 shutout on Nepal for them, and taking that first map means they will move into the semifinals. Splyce, thanks for showing up once again, but that is not going to be their day.
The sad thing about that for Splyce is that when you look at the results, when people who might not be watching this go and look at the bracket, they're going to go, oh, Team Liquid 2-0'd Splyce. I expected that. It does not tell the full story. This was a heartbreaker for Splyce. Not only was it a heartbreaker on Dorado, where they had a chance of holding, but you look what happened in Nepal. This last round, they had a very good chance of taking it. They were at 99%. The round before that, they were at 96%. Unfortunately, it just did not work out for them. And speaking of someone who works out, we are joined here at the desk by Machine. Machine, what do you think?
You still got that treadmill injury from last week.
Did I tell people publicly about that?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
You said it was me, of course, passing the blame.
That was, I've actually, look, as it's recovered now. And I have a big chunk taken out of my shoulder, which I won't show you. It was not nice, yeah. Have I told you how comical it was? I did. Anyway, moving swiftly on into that game, you make some great points, DP. I think that's what we kind of need to hang on to, right? Is that, yes, it was a debut for Splyce, but I mean, that overtime could have gone either way. Prior to that, we saw just how close it can get, 96-99, right? And then seeing that final flip for Liquid. My biggest takeaway, however, has to be AZK's Tracer. Was it anyone else just absolutely enjoying that? That was an entrancing play from him.
He was playing so well on both maps. The first map, Dorado, seemed to be the AZK McCree show. Then it was the Tracer show. It's actually just the AZK show. He's dominating on all the characters that he played. There was some Reaper in the mix there as well. Definitely held up his end of the work as well. So, yeah, AZK definitely dazzling today and carrying Team Liquid to that victory.
I think, actually, I'd rather spend some time talking about that Dorado game. Now, I know it's easy to forget when you're casting and suddenly you move straight into another map and Nepal's fresh in your mind, but do you remember just how like back and forth that was? It was really kind of kooky. Like for a while it looked like there was a perfect hold from Splyce and it looked like Liquid didn't have time, and then suddenly they just had all the time in the world. It was like really, really confusing to suddenly see that last effort push. It was hard to call, wasn't it?
It was hard to call. It's two things where I think AZK definitely had a little bit of a dull stretch there, and Clockwork was playing out of his mind. It really could not have gone any better for Clockwork for a while, but at the very end, Clockwork stopped hitting every shot. AZK was able to move in. I think it started off with an early pickoff. Yeah. So, I mean, it was down to the wire, and Splyce was very, very close to holding that. But in the end, Liquid was able to pull it out.
It's funny you should mention Clockwork, because he was our amazing player of the game. It was that basically outstanding performance on Dorado. You saw him kind of from the top shooting down, then flies down for a final kill. It was beautiful from him. Nice execution, taking off the heads. We'll have a look now. This is, of course, brought to you by Republic of Gamers. This is our incredible play of the game. If I'm not mistaken, this is where he does just line up 5, fill up the kill feed, and you can see how happy he is. He just starts like panic wiggling at the floor, but it's absolutely insane.
Starts out with the easy kill on Minstrel. We thought that was good enough. Killing a Lucio is always good. Hitting that Genji in flight, of course, great as well, followed by both tanks. And then, of course, he just jumps down. Reaper's there on his own, and he hits him almost around the corner, bending bullets for Clockwork, drops the noose spray, and wiggles around. As you say, it always feels good getting 5 kills in a row, just left-clicking away at people's heads.
Because for me, sometimes I feel like McCree's get a bit cocky and do the finger gun emote a little too prematurely. You know, I'm like, come on, dude, I don't know if that justifies a finger gun.
You've been watching some R-tier highlights.
That was a finger gun moment. Or, as he did, the floor wiggle. That's how we'd like to celebrate here at Overwatch. All round, a lot of fantastic takeaways from that game, and you guys have been enjoying it as well. What was your play of the game from that one? Are you a Clockwork fan? Did you like what AZK was doing on Tracer? What's your main? Let us know all the answers to all of these questions, please, with the hashtag OWOpen, and of course all your information on Overwatch Open. We have one more game to go, gents. Who will join the boys who just glided through that game? It's Liquid, of course, who secured the spot in the semi-finals. Who's going to join alongside them? We'll find out in our final quarterfinal and final game of the evening. It has just flown by. Time flies when you're having fun, folks. We've got just one more game of Overwatch, one more best of 3 to dig our teeth into. We'll be back after the break with Fnatic versus Sodipop. Now, just before we go, I don't normally do this, but ZP, if people are unfamiliar, why should they stick around for our final game? Fnatic versus Sodipop. I'll let you set the scene.
So Fnatic versus Sodipop, I will say this. For Sodipop, they have been an up-and-coming team. The results have been getting better over time. And Fnatic, even though they have certainly shown us some really good play as of late, they're a team where I feel like they still have weaknesses, where even though I would favor Fnatic going in, there is maybe a chance of an upset. I would say I would favor Fnatic heavily, but you never know. Sodipop's improving week after week.
Yeah.
Maybe that potential is there.
We've already seen so many surprises in the first 2 weeks. Now we're into the third. Maybe, just maybe, Sodipop can exceed expectations. Many teams have already done it. We'll find out after our break if they can break the boys over any other team.